Hi math students, this video is to help you with your Pre-Algebra Unit 3 Lesson 12 focus notes. So the first thing you should do is either print out this paper so you can fill it in as we go and then submit a picture of that at the end. Or if you don't have a printer, that's okay. Just get your own piece of paper and write down everything that I write down, and then at the end you'll submit a picture of your own paper. All right, so our essential question: how can you tell if a number is irrational? So we're not going to answer this yet. This is just what we're thinking about as we go through these notes. And then our initial question, our starting point: what does it mean for a number to be irrational? Again, we're not going to answer this yet, but this is just our first question that we're going to think about as we go through these notes. And by the end of the notes, we'll be able to answer these two questions. So our source or sources, so where can we find information about irrational numbers? Well, this was lesson 12 in our pre-algebra course, so I know that lesson 12 is going to be helpful. And of course, you can go to all sorts of great websites like Khan Academy or Virtual Nerd, and there's many others. But for right now, I'm just going to write lesson 12 because I know I'm going to find what I need in that lesson 12 of our pre-algebra course. All right, so our key academic vocabulary. So what words we need to know going forward. So rational number. So what we're going to write for the definition for rational number. And remember, you can pause the video anytime so you have enough time to write, and then just push play when you're ready to go again. Any number that terminates or repeats. And we are going to talk about terminating and repeating in just a minute. Next one, irrational number. This is going to be any number that does not terminate or repeat. So a rational number is any number that terminates or repeats, and an irrational number is any number that does not terminate or repeat. So now let's talk about terminating and repeating. So a terminating decimal, for our definition, we're going to write it ends. Like there is an end to it. So for example, 3.5. This decimal, it ends. It's just 3.5. There's nothing else after that. Or 1.275. It ends. There's the end right there after the 5. Another terminating decimal is something like 8. That one terminates also. It means it ends. So terminating means like there is a definite end to it. Repeating decimal. So we're going to write repeats in a pattern. So for example, 7.252525 ... So this repeats because it goes 25, 25, 25. It's the same pattern the entire way. Another repeating example would be something like 3.6666666. That's repeating. It's repeating the same number all the way. So these are examples of repeating decimals. So for rational numbers, any number that terminates or repeats. So all of these are rational numbers. These ones would be rational because they terminate. These ones are rational because they repeat. Our irrational numbers are going to be ones that do not terminate or repeat. So none of these are irrational. We're going to see some irrational examples in a minute, but not these ones. Okay, so number 5, applying what we know. So our example is 0.325. The question says, does the decimal terminate, repeat, or neither? So 0.325. It ended right there, right after 0.325, right after the 5. So this one's called terminating because it ended. The next example is 2.567182695, and it continues. So this one doesn't terminate because I see this ... meaning it's going on and on and on. I don't see a repeating pattern here. There's no pattern in here that I see. So this one must be a neither. It doesn't terminate and it doesn't repeat. It's just a bunch of random numbers in a row that don't stop. So on the next part, we're going to take those same two questions that we just did, but now we're actually going to answer a bigger question about them. So same number, 0.325. Is this a rational or irrational number, and why? So we know up here we said that it terminates, and looking at our definitions, it's rational if it terminates. So we're going to say it's rational. And it said why, so because it terminates. So this is a rational number because it terminates. The next example, the same one we did on the other page, 2.567182695, ... Is it rational or irrational? So up here we said that neither, it didn't terminate and it didn't repeat. So looking at our definitions, irrational is a number that doesn't terminate and doesn't repeat. So this is going to be irrational because it doesn't terminate or repeat. So let's look at some more examples here. Circle rational or irrational for each number shown. So 0.98989898 ... So I see a repeating pattern here. It's repeating that 98, so that makes it rational. Rational is if it's either terminating or repeating. 2.34. So that terminated, it ended, so that's rational. 0.765. I see this repeating pattern, 765, 765, 765. So that makes it rational. 9.47513425 ... I don't see any pattern in here, so it doesn't repeat. I know it doesn't terminate because I see this ... So this one must be irrational. It doesn't terminate and it doesn't repeat. Over here, 1.2. So it terminates. It ended right after that too, so that's going to be rational. 0.08080808. I see that pattern of 080808. So that's repeating. So that's going to be rational. 6.7513245667. ... So I don't see a repeating pattern, and it doesn't terminate because it's got ... So that must mean this one's irrational. And 5.67854. So there's no pattern, but it does end, even though it's a bunch of random numbers, there's not a ... after it. So this one terminates, it ends right after that 4, so that makes it rational. Okay, so now you've come to the end of the summary and reflection. So now we should be able to answer those initial questions that we had at the beginning of the notes. How can you tell if a number is rational or irrational? So we just did a bunch of examples of how to tell. So you're going to write here in words. I can tell if a number is rational or irrational by what? What do you look for? What are the rules that we just talked about up here? And then why is it helpful to know if a number is irrational? So take a minute and fill in these two answers. You need to write this out in words. And the reason I especially want to make sure you write it out right here is because on your next assignment, it's a Flipgrid discussion. You're going to record a short video of yourself, and you can literally just read what you wrote right here for your Flipgrid discussion. So you will just record a short video saying, how I can tell if a number is rational or irrational is blah, 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 whatever you just wrote right here. So this is going to get you, doing this part is getting you points for the notes, but it's also going to help you do your Flipgrid discussion, which comes right after this assignment.